Hello, hello. And we're back a little early this time for just in the last couple minutes. Figured, waiting gets a little boring. Looking at the same highlights and listening to the same tracks, might get a little old. But next week there'll be a little bit more diversity, so just wait on that. But as we're waiting for Inkdivers Deco versus Firestorm, I thought I'd just talk about these teams a little bit more. But this time it's going to be with Naza. Say hello, Naza.
Yo, what's up?
So both of these teams are what I would like to consider, right? You know that they're a strong team, right? But you just haven't seen them play yet. Like, if you look at every single person that's on the roster, you're like, wow, these guys have to be good, right? But of course, they haven't played. I know Firestorm hasn't played in a while in this kind of format, and Inkdivers kind of has been picking up new members, swapping some things around. But they as well, right, are coming with some more, fuel to their fire.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Inkdivers Deco, huh? A very familiar team when you have been lurking around team battles, right?
Yep.
They're a team that I do see potential in, so I'm expecting some plays from them. Also, I love this Splatoon-centric name. Very fresh.
It's very, very fresh, indeed. And
for Firestorm, it's a unique case. All kind of stuff.
Yep. And for ID, I mean, this game is mostly going to come down to, can J King produce? J King has the capability of, scoring 17K with his drill, but he also has those games where he's been held a little bit under what they would probably consider average. Will probably be considered, good. So definitely a player that kind of is the core producer for Inkdivers Deco, and it kind of serves as the backbone for how their offense and how their game plan runs.
Potential for drills is amazing. It's like a really large play, and how do I explain this? Drills are pretty much a weapon that can be able to do pretty much anything with teammates or without. So, and it even has a good ninjutsu for most of the stuff that you otherwise couldn't be able to do on your own, or you otherwise couldn't be able to do without assistance or anything like that, So it's really important of making sure that you get your special, get in there, get some drones, get some just take some names, and get as many points as you can for the rest of the match.
Yeah, indeed. And on the other side, Firestorm, right? Firestorm is a team where anyone can do anything whenever they want. This is a team that every single person that you see on the opposite side of the field, they're an immediate threat, and they need to be dealt with accordingly. Every single one of these players has the potential to just pop off entirely. It's just a question of if they will. This was pretty evident in Season 1, right? Their averages across the season were relatively standard, but when they hit their peak, they really hit. They really hit. So we'll have to see if they'll be able to take over the games like they used to in Season 0, or if they're all the newer teams have caught up to them.
I remember most of the players under Crash and Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
A legacy team that's been around for quite some time and has made some works in the past, so I don't think that much has really changed with them. But why fix what ain't broken, am I right?
Yeah.
If it's really strong, then you pretty much have a lot of good results coming your way.
Yep. And switching to the lobby here, really we're waiting on. Oh, never mind. We're not waiting on anyone anymore. We're primed and ready to get into this match as soon as they press the ready button.
Let's see here. Can see it.
ID rocking with Copper Bullet, J King, Nat, and Kit. Firestorm rocking Cobalt, Ivan, Gabriel, Super Milk. And map 1, we'll see what they decide to go. Still waiting on what the first map pick will be, but I would figure it would be probably WNA Academy. That tends to be the standard for most teams.
Let's see. So who do you think has the upper hand, WNA?
I think. Well, that's the thing, right? I haven't seen Firestorm play in a long time, so I can't really give an accurate judgment on who I think has the upper hand.
Yeah,
but
I'm not on your side either.
From what I've seen,
Firestorm though.
Yeah, from what I've seen from Inkdivers Deco, their WNA Academy, they play drastically different than most other teams. Most times, instead of most teams end up taking that mid fight, right, and proceed with the game plan from there, ID tends to avoid mid entirely and focus on the corners instead, which really creates a weird scenario where, right, the enemy hammer's kind of just sitting mid, where is everyone? They're kind of looking around, because meanwhile ID is attacking both their outsides and are looking to collapse on the opposing hammer.
Sounds like an ambush of some kind. I've been seeing a lot of people do that in ranked battles, which is a pretty smart strategy if no one's really prepared for it, especially taking out inner drones and pretty much just taking out an individual from any side.
Yep. Still waiting. Okay, so they're still waiting on one. There's ID is still waiting on one person, just to readjust some last minute things. And as soon as that's ready, we'll get into business with game 1.
We'll see what's up.
Yeah, I'm seriously looking forward to this match. I haven't seen Firestorm play in a long time, and I want to see how much they've improved, right? Because this is another one of those games where it's the old crew versus the new squad. Last time it was +1 versus Hime. And +1 came out on top, so we'll see if the old guard can take another win.
Man, it seems like a very classic match just waiting to happen.
Yeah. So.
Also, I would like to mention that they're wearing really some pretty classic clothing as well. For example, the tuxedo, spy outfit. And also the classic ninja skin that you can get if you buy the Jala 90. It's 900 Jala that you can get.
I believe so.
Or something like that.
I believe
so. Yeah,
so.
he always had that attire ever since. He never changed it.
To this day.
He never changed that.
7 months later.
You can just consider it Ivan's classic, really.
Yeah. And now we're ready to rumble. Game 1. WNA Academy. Let's get it started.
Alright. Let's take a look at some of the weapons here. It seems like that we got a Mellow, Cornbat,
Caliber.
Hammer.
So we have Caliber, Mellow from J King, Hammer from Nat. Mellow for J King is something that I have not seen. I've only mostly seen J King on Drill, as I mentioned earlier, so we'll see how they adjust to the new weapon. Well, I mean, new for me, not new for them. They probably were practicing this kind of thing. J King put out a tweet saying hey, we're looking for scrim partners this season because we're trying to improve and get better. So they've definitely been scrimming a handful of teams, getting some strategies down pat, and keeping a bunch of things secret so that they can bring it out just in a situation like this one.
Lovely. Getting those scrims in is a really good thing for matchups like these. Alright, let's see what their game plan is.
Okay, ID, look, very interesting start, but honestly, it's pretty standard. I mean, most of their members are flanking towards the right-hand side, which means that they really do not care too much about their outer.
They seem to be really focused on trying to immobilize a lot of players from doing their jobs.
Jake King gets E-pawned early, actually, and Firestorm, they're gonna take over this early game. 2 quick E-pawns at the start of the game is huge. And I mean, the score is definitely explaining, you know, how the game started off early. And Cobalt with the continued aggression. Firestorm's not giving ID room to breathe, right? They're putting the responsibility on ID to, you know, fight back. And right now, they are not. Firestorm winning that fight in the corner, the 2v2, and I mean, Firestorm coming out hot.
I believe their game plan is to just make sure that the hammer keeps on getting these drones, keep on ranking up points as much as possible, so they can have a pretty high lead.
Yo,
it seems like Punish Blaze out too.
That's a misses the really tight window to punish on the teleport. Cobalt gets 2. Cobalt gets 3. Cobalt gets 3.
Oh.
Cobalt, he's ready to 1v4.
That's a huge timeout right there.
And a huge loss in map control for ID, because now they have to go fight it back. And as you can see, right, the second punishing blade coming in, the rocket coming in. Oh, but the parting Utsusemi actually almost gets a 2K.
Yeah, parting Utsusemi is a very strong tool in most of these situations where if you get KO'd by multiple people, it has a good chance of KOing everyone in its way. Of course, you cannot get E-pawns out of it. It would just be too crazy, but it's good for just wiping out people and
good weapon,
basically wasting my time.
The dragon, though, dragon. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Was,
yes.
A little off.
Dragon is a good ninjutsu. Yes. I do agree. Soundhammer from Gabriel. Something that I haven't seen in a long time. So we'll see. He has Rocket here. See where he uses it. If he decides to use it mid, or he wants to hold it for contesting their enemy, which is spawning in about 6-7 seconds. Good read by Kit. Kit with the E-pawn. Boom. Beautiful.
Nice caliber combo.
Cobalt second punishing blade does not get much value out of it.
Yeah, the overpowering wave just pretty much just put him out of commission.
Tenchi, get in the bag. J King said, get in the bag, Ivan. Living through the rocket as well. That came from Gabriel. So, you know, kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone with that play. Ivan, not very happy about that. Tries to fire back, but unfortunately ends up getting E-pawn for free.
Getting kicked out of the curb with the mellow.
Yep. Super Milk, though, firing right back. No hesitation on the immediate trade. And everyone is a ghost, including Ivan. The floating sword strikes again. With 30 seconds left, we'll see a 5k lead or 5k deficit for ID to overcome. We'll see if they can manage to bring it back, or if Firestorm will manage to, you know, keep holding the lead. He has now dropped to 3k. Yeah, the lead is dropping, but this rocket should secure. I mean, that rocket's gonna get, it gets 1, it gets 2, and with that, that's pretty much closer to game. But who knows? There might be. Oh no, Cobalt locking the game away by securing E-pawn master with 6 E-pawns.
Good drone master.
Yeah.
Like you said,
actually,
E-pawn master is very important with that.
Actually, hold on. I've been wrong this whole time. But it ends up not. I've been wrong this whole time. ID taking the lead back after a disastrous early game. They managed to claw all the way back. Right, the lead at the beginning of the game was so bad for them, but
very steep.
Like they lost multiple 2v2 fights at the beginning, which should spell absolute disaster normally, right? Against most teams, you lose those 2 fights in the middle, your early game's just gone. But ID, staying strong, manages to, you know, bring it all the way back.
Drones are very important in that mid game. If you've been losing your in the first part of the match, always make sure to get those drones and try to keep them out.
Even
and
with
if you keep on doing that, you'll get the win.
even with the heroics from Cobalt, right, with the 3K punishing blade, you know, and then you know, other Firestorm members coming in with Epons directly after, they didn't manage to, you know, bring back the deficit, or they didn't manage to hold on to the lead that they built. So I'm expecting I expect Firestorm to run it back WNA. I mean, losing by 1K is definitely perfectly fine. Yep, and it seems like I was right. They are going to run it back to WNA Academy. Yeah, I mean, losing 1K on a map is like, you don't have to switch off, because that's a couple decisions early game and mid game that, you know, turns that 1K deficit into a 1K lead.
An evenly matched group, an evenly matched set going on right now. Hopefully we'll be able to see some major adaptations or advancements that they can be able to make against what was just happening right there.
Yeah. Like, even though Firestorm had a dominant early game, ID kind of just had a better mid game, late game performance, and honestly, that matters a lot more, right, than early game. Because like early game, you know, the most you're amassing is maybe like you can amass up to like a 10K point lead early game, but if you continue to lose all those big drowns that spawn late game and mid late game, you can kiss that 10K lead goodbye. You know, all that work you put in making sure you got that lead early, a couple of big drones, and your lead you just see your lead evaporate in front of your eyes.
Definitely, not to mention losing your specials as well during your active state of just having a punishing blade or any sort of special, getting interrupted by anything like while having your special is a detriment for your team. So good job with the rockets. Make sure you keep them safe, or otherwise you have to go get that again. Yep. And also with the punishing blades, be really careful with those. Someone can use overpowering wave and just get rid of you right on the spot.
Yeah, overpowering wave is a really good job at stopping punishing blades, especially since, you know, due to its range, its tracking, the size of the wave. And you saw it a bit in the last game, but we'll see if ID can do it again.
Seems like they're doing a duo right here.
Another relatively standard start. ID pushing aggressively, but unfortunately, it's gonna result in disaster or an even trade. We'll see. Cubic really doing it. Oh, good work, Cubic, turning a bad situation into a good situation. That was almost a 0-for-2 trade, but they managed to reverse it and make it a 2-for-2, making this game dead even.
The Mel's job is to make sure that they can be able to mobilize the opponents and basically feed KOs to your teammates. So hopefully they can be able to find an opening for such. And
that's dragon. A really good dragon by Cubic. Because he got those early kills and was able to farm outer, he was able to build his dragon and tell Firestorm to get off my turret.
Very good. Yeah, the gun guard was not out, so it was impossible to really get out of that situation.
Gabriel and Ivan do a good job taking out Nat, but they're giving up mid for that bullet. Okay,
alright.
Kid taking out Cobalt. Ivan getting Epon on JK. And he has they have punishing blade, so we'll see. That might be one. That's one. Good sound handling. Can they get more? No, only one Epon, one drone. I consider that a pretty good value punishing blade.
As long as you get those two things done, then you should be fine.
With their punishing blade, gets sniped by Cobalt's punishing blade. So it's just punishing blade city in this game.
Yeah, it's a matter of who uses the punishing blade well.
Yep.
Alright, here and there, getting to the other drone.
The Necromancer Nat gets gunbound, but manages to break a couple weapons beforehand.
Ooh, watch out for the dragon.
Struggle to scrap Cubic and Cobalt. I expect one of them to just leave the fight, or not. Cobalt lands a hit, but doesn't actually convert.
Alright, Blue Drill versus Festival Form Bat.
Really good whiff punish by Cobalt, and Cubic loses the parry, loses his life.
Ooh, Mel was saved. Well,
Wow. Gabriel as well. And punishing blade by Ivan. We'll see what they
Perfect
can get.
time. Use the punishing blade. Getting that
Wow.
big drone.
They have 2 punishing blades active right now. Cobalt just layered their punishing blade with Ivan by a couple seconds. They had double punishing blade action, but which I consider a huge waste, right? You want to make sure you're layering your punishing blades so they always have to worry about it. You don't want to layer them at the same time.
Yeah, I would rather just not. I'd rather coordinate those drills for that kind of situation. But you got those big drones to deal with over in the outers and inners as well. All right. We've seen our overpowered blade.
Hit with punishing blade. Hopefully they can get a chance to use it, but no. Sound hammer.
Ooh.
The sound hammer parry. What's the term, Naza? Parry blocking. Parry cancel. When the sound bullet hits your opponent's parry and it takes priority, so it stops your opponent from being able to enter the parry because you don't actually hit them. The sound barrier.
It's a very sad situation, getting into a parry and getting it canceled. Very sad situation.
Ivan popping their 3rd punishing blade this game. Managed to find 1 E-pawn with it, but
They're so far up.
Yeah. So
They did a really interesting job.
Firestorm swinging back in game 2. They did not like what they did or what happened in game 1, and every single one of them stepped it up. Really good performance by all of them. Like I said, it could be one player one game, it can be another player the next game. Every single one of these players on this team has the potential to just take over.
Definitely mixing things up was something that they definitely needed, especially with how Ivan and his caliber pretty much just made like waves, literally.
Yup.
Taking out all these punishing blades and pretty much just keeping them out of commission.
Yep.
But I would like to say one more thing. Of parries, it's very important to know what you're into. Be very careful. Just make sure to take a look around your surroundings. And just know that if you miss a parry, it's a huge detriment. If you miss a parry and you try it again, just know that if you miss it, you're giving them points, and you don't want to be in a situation where you pretty much lose something. So if you're not that, confident in that kind of situation, you can always dash out.
Yeah.
Dashing out is the thing that a lot of people would do if they don't really want to get in a situation where they could possibly lose, and they can probably find our approach and all sorts. So try doing that if you are in a pickle.
And just seeing, as you see the stage swap, we're getting a Croissant Arena. Getting a Croissant Arena here from ID as their counter pick. And again, Croissant Arena, I think really favors. I actually think it favors Firestorm's composition better than ID's, but we'll see how they want to play it. Right, having double punishing blade on running either side of the map, one side with the hammer, one side with the sound hammer. I think that's way stronger than what ID currently have in their composition. Corn Mellow.
I'd say that could go either way,
Skate.
because of the hammer being, skate hammer.
Yeah.
A lot of people can be able to, go in and try to go attack this hammer, and then the hammer will be like, "Nope, I'll take you out with my pitching." Or all sorts of stuff, and also the mellow too. The mellow and the skate hammer do have a pretty good place or a pretty good spot in Croissant Arena, so I can see this being a pretty good thing for them, and hopefully they do utilize that map that shows all the locations of the drones, and just know which one has more priority, like the top drones or the hangar drones or the grass drones.
Yep. So we actually see a weapon swap from Kit. Dropping the caliber to pick up a skate hammer. So, kind of the standard strategy on Croissant Arena. It's kind of the meta that has mostly formed on this map. Double hammer in a dream, essentially is what it is. You have one hammer on one side of the map, the other hammer on the other side of the map, and they just never meet with each other, and they just continue to do the work that they need to do. But it looks like we're gonna see a whole scale fight Common
Seems like
theme.
most of them are hangover to red. Some of them are over in their hangars right now and just trying to take some drones, take priority over the drone, and make sure that they don't miss their shot.
So Nat secures the drone, but Cubic's still sticking around when there's nothing to fight for.
Again, be really careful. Alright.
Again, Cubic gets punished for sticking around when the main objective is gone. I understand the wanting to fight, but when the drone is gone, there's no reason to fight there anymore. You've already won.
You are in such a large map, it's very important just getting something that is pretty much stationary than something that will keep on moving.
Going from point A to point B on this map is extremely important. Again, as Naza said, due to the size of this map, right? You have no time to waste. Especially when you have hammers on the other side of the map staring you down, right? You miss time, you come late, the drones are gone.
I just want to mention the S-Energy orbs that are around here. No one really mentions those. There's so many of them out here.
And all of them are free
much
points.
for travel.
J-King does something crazy by trying to directly contest Punishing Blade, but they don't get punished for it, thankfully. Cobalt, though, with their Punishing Blade, they see two. J-King actually whiffs Tenchi, and they actually die for it. A true tragedy in two parts.
Alright, hang out to blue, over to red grass. Alright.
Kit getting caught making their weapon. And Cobalt decides, no, that's not worth my time.
Not to really approach that situation, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good KO on J-King. Parting with Sesemi, gets a gun bind, but I don't think it actually steals the drone. We'll see.
It has a little damage to it.
Yeah. So right now, ID with a small lead, coming into hangar spawn. This is when the hangar drones spawn. That's what I consider late game. A huge swing with the double E-pawn by Cubic.
It's pretty much the opposite of W&A.
Yeah.
With how, starting game pretty much is like the defining factor in most cases. This one is pretty much 100 seconds in. If you see those hangar drones, it's your main priority. Don't focus too much on the other drones that are less points than not.
ID just blew this game wide open by getting 3 E-pawns in a row on Firestorm, and this might put the game out of reach, right? Against double hammer on this map, if you get map advantage, what can Firestorm do? It's really hard for them to be able to scrap and take drones away from the enemy, because that's really their only path to victory. This isn't a lead that they could just fight it out and manage to win.
You have to be very precise with all of your actions, so there's little room for mistakes.
Good E-pawn win by J-King. So another E-pawn by J-King. Okay.
Nice giant killer.
So well here. We'll
Spree.
see if Nat can get this Tenchi off. Is the bag coming? J-King with the double polymorph too, but Cobalt with the Punishing Blade. Dude, J-King is taking over this late game. Absolutely. Clutch polymorphs, clutch E-pawns. Like I said before the match, right? J-King is the person to watch, and J-King ended that match when they said the match was over. When J-King said the match was over, the match was over. ID just blew the lead out of the park. As you saw, the game went from a 2K lead for ID. Look at the final score, 13K.
Oh no.
And a majority of that was off the back of J-King's mellow play, right?
32K. That's a pretty large.
Point average. ID really definitively ended that game. That wasn't a game that it was pretty close or whatever. No, it's not like Firestorm let off the gas. With the way Firestorm was playing, you would assume that they were ahead. They were making plays, but one bad swing, double E-pawn on Gabriel and Cobalt, Ivan getting E-pawn as well. Firestorm just lost map control completely, Double hammer from ID comes into play, right? And then they take control of the map, and now you're put in a situation where now you have to fight back against double hammer with no drones. That you'll never get to a drone first for the rest of the map, right? And you have to deal with a Mellow Alum mode staring you down with Tenchi Muyo and Polymorph, right? And especially against Punishing Blades, not a good sight.
Although it is a relatively new stage, there's one thing that is very important. Make too many mistakes, you make a lot of problems in the long run. Be really careful with how you approach your enemies, and always make sure to have someone with you. Yep. Although it is a large stage, it's very important of knowing where the drones are and planning on trying to take that drone back for you.
Yep. So going into game 4, we have WNA counterpick again. Firestorm, they dropped the first game on WNA, but game 2 they really, kind of made a definitive win on that map, showing that this is our map, and they're heading back to it, hoping to pick up a game 4 win to force a game 5. But ID, they switched back to, again, Kit switched back to the caliber, so matching the offensive firepower of Firestorm. And
control.
We'll see if this will be a repeat of game 1 or a repeat of game 2, or maybe an absolute blowout.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll have to see.
There could be a lot of things, right? They have to bring something to the table that they did not bring in the last match, right?
I mean, Firestorm's probably thinking like, all right, we won on this map before, let's just do what we did that game 2. And ID's like, we won on this map before, let's do what we did in game 1. So we'll see who actually gets to execute their game plan. Again,
Alright, Team Base Channel 5.
Oh my, Cobalt is already in there. They're looking for blood. With I can't even call it over aggression, right? Because, Cubic Copper Bullet has no backup.
Pretty much waiting for their drone to just appear.
Yeah, this is just a full-on assault by Firestorm.
Too much of a team play right there. And hope they can be able to just try and compose each other so they can be able to organize a plan to attack. Okay, there's 2 people already on this one person. Hopefully they can be able to take them out.
Firestorm. Firestorm got their game plan. They're moving as a unit now. They're moving an absolute unit, non-stop aggression. Right. This is somewhat akin to how Neo plays, right? Where it's group aggression. Every single person on their team just goes in, right? Because it's only bad if only one person goes in at a time. But if everyone is there and everyone's available to help each other, it's hard to stop. Ivan gets
here comes the spite.
Gets one with the Punishing Blade. Kit really tried to knock them away with Punishing Blade, but J King says a soul for a soul as he hands Ivan the bag and tells him to get in.
Blade for blade.
A true tragedy.
Or in this case,
good tornado read by Super Milk.
Well done, keeping that mid all clean.
Yeah, and a good bind by Super Milk. Haven't spectated him much, but the moment I switch on, you get 2 quick epons back to back.
That was pretty super.
Yep.
Alright, Mel comes back in. Get that support going.
Yep.
Very important. Alright.
Now, Cubic, Copper Bullet, Moonwalking, and Invisible is taking the inner drone, trying to just get their dragon. Cobalt actually takes out Kit in the back off of a parry.
Being that Mellow big weapon as well can be really good in the long run.
That's a really high value dragon right there. Ivan might be dead here. We'll see. Good save with gun boost impact by Cobalt, I believe.
Alright, there's that big drone. This is where things get really interesting.
Punishing Blade by Ivan. We'll see what kind of value they can get with it. They're swinging, and they actually get no value. Absolutely zero. Gets Epon directly out of it.
Okay.
Kick gets traded off 1 for 1.
Okay, well the Sound Hammer just remixed his face.
The dragon takes out Super Milk. Wow. we're looking at an ID trying to bring it back. Firestorm with a comfortable 3K lead. Cobalt gets one, but again, J King with the bag every time. Like I mentioned last game, right? This is Mellow mode, right? This is where Mellow really finds their value in dealing with these offensive threats, just by shutting them down entirely.
There's no escape from the Mellow.
Yep. Cobalt gets the revenge for Ivan, takes out J King, and now Firestorm doesn't have to deal with a Mellow for another couple seconds. Ooh. Really good rocket by Gabriel, actually securing that drone, and Firestorm maintaining their lead at a 4K lead. Game by JK.
Nice prediction.
Yeah. Ivan with another punishing blade gets polymorphed and probably gonna get Epon for it. Yep.
Oh man, that was
good. With a couple seconds left, I mean, this is a Firestorm win and a game 5 we're probably heading to.
Ooh,
so a second game 5 series of the day comes off of the back of again you know every one of these players, right? They all pick up for each other. Every single one of them. It's just a really good team performance by Firestorm to kind of again another repeat of game 2, dominant win on WNA Academy, and game 5 we'll see if ID wants to run it back to Croissant Arena or if they want to try something a little different.
Where will this map take us?
We shall see.
A lot of new possibilities are happening right now since game 5 is online.
Yep. And they are running it back to Croissant. They are going to run it back to Croissant Arena. Unsurprising, considering that the dominant victory that they had. But I mean, ID might be, they might be reaching a little bit because that game was close, right? It was only due to it was only due to like one strong team play moment that they managed to blow that lead wide open. For most of the game, it was relatively even. So if Firestorm can kind of hold down, and kind of prevent themselves from making those kinds of aggressive plays that can backfire on them in such a manner, then I can see them winning this map. Straight up.
The strong rotations. If you get the idea of where the rotations are, then you're pretty much all set for this map. Yep. Again, as I said before, this is a pretty large map. You do not have the time to be lost anywhere.
No.
You cannot. If you do, then you are going to become a liability for losing the match. So be really careful.
Yeah. Again, right? You could tell that, right? The games that ID won, right? It was largely due to J King's performance, and he did have a really good performance that next game, but again, right, you have to look at the other members on ID as well and what exactly went wrong in the 2 maps that they lost on WNA, because you remember they won the first one, so they definitely had something going for it. But I think Firestorm just woke up and they decided like, hey, we can't lose this map again, right? This is our map, this is our turf. They've been a team longer than ID's been a team. They've been playing on WNA more than ID has played on WNA, But Croissant Arena, we'll have to see what adjustments Firestorm will make, because if they don't adjust, then they might just get blown out in the same exact way.
Wow, a good start with Drill.
Mm-hmm.
The Drill just went down, used here and there, going into the middle. Interesting.
They're playing really passive, extremely passive. It's just J King that's playing aggressive, but against the Soundhammer, and you don't know where the Soundhammer's teammates are, that's super scary. Like, as you can see, right, this is death right out the gate. Making an aggressive play against a Soundhammer when you don't know where the Soundhammer's teammates are, extremely problematic.
Be really careful around the Soundhammer. Although they may have gone, a few busts and stuff like that, they've always been known to just be able to take control of a lot of things because of their specials and everything. So just keep that in mind.
Cubic with a really nice KO on Gabriel. Has the dragon ready to go next time they need to assist a teammate or secure a drone. Nada as well with Tenchi. We're gonna wait to see if who they use it on. They're probably gonna hold it for the punishing blades, right? Because this Firestorm's team is running 2 punishing blades. Ivan has theirs right now. We'll see if they want to use it. Yep. Kit.
All right.
Run. Run. Oh no. Is that one?
I don't want to get too close.
Uh-oh. Yep. Hey, get in the bag. The evasion of a professional. And that's a double bag too by Kit. Oh my god. What a play. Dodges the punishing blade number 1. To get the double bag, but it's traded off by Cobalt and Super Milk because they do a really good job trading Epon for Epon. Gabriel with Rocket. We'll see where they want to use it. I would assume they just use it pretty soon, like right here, maybe. Yeah, he's posturing for it. He's posturing for it. Yep, there it is.
All right.
As expected.
Keep them stunned in.
But it seems okay. He gets one. And he's in time to help his teammate Cobalt with Nat. That's the parry cancel. That's the parry cancel right there. Leads into a KO, unfortunately, but again, like if Gabriel wasn't there, that could have gone a whole lot worse.
Oh yeah, the hangers are up now.
Yep, hangers are up. We're in late game now. This is where Croissant Arena games live or die. You know. See, Cobalt, good dash out by Copper Bullet.
Nice work.
And J King comes in with the polymorph. Gets hit by the dragon, followed up on by good conversion by Cubic.
Yeah, blasted.
Now attacking the big drone with low HP. You know, even though it's kind of expected, right, that it's going to be at least 2 there every time.
He and them are, wow, they're really close.
So Ivan with the punishing blade, just to get 1, but oh my, the parting Utsu Sammy, but Cobalt fires right back, trades 1 for 1, and punishing blade still active, probably only gonna get a drone with it, but I mean, really good trade. And Firestorm has the lead right now, coming to the last 30 seconds of the game.
You got so many drones to surround.
Oh, that's such a good bag, because that would have been a disaster. 22 seconds left. 4K lead for Firestorm. And
maybe able to make a push.
Yeah, this is ID's last. I mean, ID's running out of time. This rocket by Gabriel should seal the game. It's a 2K lead now. He emotes as well. Understands that. Yup. This is what we do. You know, can't count us out ever. Not now, not ever. And Firestorm, just like I said, right? ID won their Croissant Arena game because Firestorm handed the game to them on a silver platter. When Firestorm doesn't hand games to ID on a silver platter, this is what we see. And this is just a really solid, really solid performance by Firestorm, not letting go of the lead that they maintained. So, I mean, GG's to both teams for a really good 5-game series.
A very strong match for both teams. They did a really amazing job trying to set the score, giving out Game 5 with Croissant Arena, one of the relatively new stages, and probably something that a lot of people are going to be looking into now, for sure.
You know, Croissant Arena is probably most likely going to be like the #1 counter pick this season, I'm assuming. So if teams don't get practiced on it, they're gonna have a whole lot of trouble, you know, when it comes to later in the season, and especially in the playoffs when teams are even more familiar with the map. But I mean, a solid win by Firestorm, solid performances all around. If there's any, I mean, like I said, right, I can't even single out any player for you know, being the main contributor for Firestorm. Every single person on this Firestorm roster did an absolutely amazing job. Absolutely amazing job when it came to, right, performing when they needed to perform. Cobalt and Ivan with the punishing blades. Gabriel coming in with the clutch soundhammer saves. You had Super Milk like holding it down, right? Like, again, you know, as I mentioned, I didn't really spectate them that much, but you know, they really did a good job of doing what, you know, their team needed them to do. In order to win the game.
You knew that they're doing their job. You
Yep.
know, like they're just doing what they need to do in order to get those drones, get those points, and pretty much just set the bar high. Pretty much get all these points going.
Absolutely.
Gain that average.
So, I mean, if you would ask me before this game, right, and as I went over, right, I didn't know if Firestorm, I didn't know how Firestorm stacked up against, teams like ID. And I mean, this win, right, ID is not, they're not a team, right? It's not like they're a weak team, Like, Firestorm beating ID, going 5 games with ID, means that Firestorm has they haven't lost their form from Season 0.
They are a legacy team.
They're coming with the same fire that they brought in Season 0, and they're competing with the same intensity as they did in Season 0. Nothing's changed, only the time and the day. So,
again,
extremely good performance by them.
Again, why fix what ain't broken? You know what I'm saying?
Absolute facts. Absolute facts.
Although I do feel that Inkdivers have done a great job with trying to keep their composure and actually showing how strong a really interesting comp can be for Croissant Arena. Croissant Arena is again a new stage, so seeing that happen and getting to Game 5, seeing it again, just makes things really interesting entire set.
And you could tell by the way they played that like this is a team, This isn't like they've played so much, they've practiced, as I mentioned, they've scrimmed so many times, and you could see it in their play. There's specific moments that you're like, wow, you could really just tell that this is a squad that has played and they will continue to play together for a while. So I'm really excited to see how they bring it back next week.
And I hope I see their Space Channel 5 outfits again.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Alright, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to send you guys to the same 5 clips and the same music once more, but when we return, +1 beta versus He May Be, you don't want to miss it.